Jesus, what was it that Trump said? That like everyone who spends time near him, eventually they all wake up one morning and just decide that they hate him.
And I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly, and some of them embrace it and some of them actually become
Back
hostile.
to the Rest is Politics US. You were missed, Katty.
What happened to holiday? What happened to vacation time?
Yeah, no, but nothing's going on in the world while you're trying to have a holiday, as you know. Nothing is going on.
Can I just take 1 week off? 1 week. That's all I'm asking for.
I want to bring you up to speed, if you don't mind. Our good friend Elon Musk, who of course we've done this beautiful mini series about, last episode to drop this coming Tuesday, is gone hard at Donald Trump, and so lots of tweeting. People probably know what the tweeting is, but some of the big bombs is that Trump is involved in the Epstein files. He's agreeing.
What is it with Musk and pedophile accusations? And also, without being funny, wouldn't the fact that he knew that, let's just say for the sake of argument that he actually believes that means that he's previously said that he loves a man who is a pedophile, like as much as a man could love another man without being romantic. Does anyone remember when he said that? It's weird, right? It's strange.
That Trump should be impeached and replaced by J.D. Vance. And there's a few more colorful ones there, but the bombing has started. Trump has also fired back. Steve Bannon, my dear friend Steve Bannon, has got himself involved. He says Elon Musk is an illegal alien. He's got to be thrown out of the country.
Oh, I didn't realize Bannon was saying that. Okay, I'm going to watch that one after this.
And all of his contracts should be canceled. So, listen, you know I'm a gloater. So let's just get right into it, because I love gloating. And, I love telling my kids I told you so and shit like that. So I'm a little bit of a gloater. But, I mean, was this not predictable? Yes or no, Katty K?
Okay, so this was what was interesting about this relationship, was that you and I said it would last about 3 to 6 months, I think is what we gave it. And now we are in 4.5 months. So I think that's right in our time frame. I think both of us were a little surprised that actually they seemed to manage initially to end this amicably, partly because of the amount of money Elon Musk has and the number of Twitter followers he has. And so that gives him...
Yeah, I wonder how it escalated so much. I mean, Musk being upset about the bill is one thing, but how did it escalate so quickly?
Him a lot of power, and we had seen that Donald Trump wanted to keep Elon Musk on side. And the other thing that has surprised me is the speed with which this has all unraveled. So we went from that press conference a couple of days ago in the Oval Office. Everything seemed to be fine, as Donald Trump has just said in the last few minutes. Look, we seem to be getting on fine, and now suddenly we're not getting on fine. And what precipitated this, ostensibly from Elon Musk's point of view, and I want to get your thoughts on this, was the budget bill that Elon has been criticizing for the last couple of days, saying this is going to add far too much money to the American deficit. No one can call themselves a conservative. He's dug up old tweets. I love that he's using Donald Trump's old tweets again.
Yep, Elon brought receipts. Easy to do when you own the platform they're posted on. But yeah, he brought receipts. We went through that on my last video.
Against him. Anyway, he's dug up Donald Trump's old tweets about the budget deficit when Donald Trump was criticizing Democrats and others for spending far too much money. So, but this has just unraveled in lightning speed. I mean, it looked like they were going to finally manage this breakup in a way that was going to suit both of them.
Actually, just one sec.
Would get out, get back to his companies, and Donald Trump could get rid of this guy whose approval ratings are even lower than Donald Trump's. And then,
well, the idea always was that like Musk was going to be like the fall guy, that they basically sort of dump all the, well, if you have a problem with what's going on here, it's all down to him. you know, that was sort of, I guess, the idea. That was what they wanted to do if that ended up happening. I'm just a little stunned that it happened. Like I said, it happened so quickly.
I don't know why, and I'd love your thoughts on this. Why has Elon gone full attack mode on Donald Trump so quickly?
Well, hang on. Before Anthony says anything, bear in mind, I like Anthony. I think he says some really cool things. I do appreciate his input, but like for a guy who only spent like a bit of time with Trump, he does oversell his expertise, the topic, shall we say? In my opinion, my limited opinion.
Oh, I mean, because Trump is a bad guy. I mean, so you have to understand, like, you can't
Elon
get that
Musk has been
close.
with this guy for the last year and a half. It's not like Donald Trump
Yeah,
has changed.
but no, he hasn't been there. Come on, he started with Trump in August, and he got too close to the sun. And anybody that gets, if you are skirting around the electron orbits of Donald Trump, let's say you're out by Uranus, we'll use that planet because that seems to be a good word for this type of activity. So if you're out by Uranus, no problem. But if you're in close by Mercury, you're going to get scorched by the guy, and you're also going to see the guy's true malevolence. And so I said when Stephanie was on as a guest,
Oh, Jesus, what was it that Trump said? That like everyone who spends time near him, eventually they all wake up one morning and just decide that they hate him.
And I'll tell you, he's not the first. People leave my administration and they love us. And then at some point they miss it so badly. And some of them embrace it and some of them actually become hostile. I don't know what it is. It's sort of Trump derangement syndrome, I guess they call it. But
So Elon Musk has TDS.
And they wake up in the morning and the glamour's gone, the whole world is different, and they become hostile. I don't know what it is. Someday you'll write a book about it and you'll let us know. Yeah. Things happen.
Like, you know what I mean? That's true, actually. And I wonder why. You know what I mean? Why doesn't anyone like genuinely connect those dots? I wonder why.
that Elon got fired. And, how did I know that he got fired? Some sources inside the administration. Also, the leaking started, the Susie Wiles leaking.
Yeah.
The ketamine drop came from inside the administration, right? We all know that because you know how Washington works. And so I think that inflamed Elon. And then the secondary thing, I think, is the ridiculousness of it all. And I said this to you, and I'll just remind people, I said, he thinks Trump is an idiot. And why? Because he was tweeting that Peter Navarro was as dumb as a box of rocks. And then, of course, he sent out a secondary tweet. I got to apologize to the box of rocks. I didn't mean to make the comparison, right? He apologized to the box of rocks.
It was quite a funny tweet sequence. It was pretty good.
Yeah. He's good at this. And but when you have a digital fingerprint, trading tariff fingerprint identical, Trump and Navarro, you're saying through your Aspergery code, Trump is an imbecile. And so he couldn't hold back anymore. And he went away. He went away from.
Well, it does say something, doesn't it? It's kind of like Trump's basically surrounded himself by people who don't really know what they think or what they want to do at any given moment. You know, it's like with any policy. What's Trump's plan here? Oh, it's this. And then you ask someone else. Oh, it's that. And you ask someone else. Oh, I think it's this. And then as soon as Trump does something that contradicts it, it's what it was always going to be. It's very, very confusing.
From the White House and said, "I am done." Okay, and now he's opened up a seam. And when Trump hit him back, Elon, God bless him, he should be a New Yorker, because when Trump started hitting me back, I fired right back at him. I'm not going to take this stuff from Donald Trump. Remember, we're still in America. These people work for us. We don't work for them. And so, but he hit him back with something that was so below the belt, Katty, that Trump would bring if it wasn't true, Trump would bring a lawsuit. George Stephanopoulos said a few things about Donald Trump. He brought a lawsuit. And by the way, ABC News settled that lawsuit. If Donald Trump is not in the Epstein files, he's going to fire off a tweet saying, "I'm suing Elon Musk for libel." because you're making this outrageous allegation.
You know what?
Even though I'm a public figure,
I never thought of it that way. That's so true. That is so true. And Trump will sue anyone for any reason. I mean, time will tell. Maybe tomorrow morning or later tonight. You never know.
I think I'm going to beat you in the libel lawsuit. See what I'm saying? But so far, we haven't heard peep from that. Now, my sources inside are telling me Trump is trying to figure out a way to de-escalate. He does not like having this guy sitting out there with $300 or $400 billion. Does not like it. Okay, it's very distracting.
And the communications tool that he has.
Yeah, of course, and the algorithm. But I got to tell you, I am here for this, and I'm also here for the tweet where he says the second half of the year we're going to go into a major recession as a result of these tariffs. That's something you and I have been telling people. Of course, all the misinformation about the Trump.
It's true. It's true. It's the entertainment factor is certainly fired up.
Kind of fun. But look, I mean, the question, so now we're watching, as we're talking, Tesla's share price is falling. So this is the escalation, and this is a question. If nobody de-escalates, and I think they both have a vested interest in de-escalating, because the part of the reason that he left.
I mean, yeah, a big incentive for Elon to de-escalate is the fact that whether he likes it or not, so much of the things he wants to do are directly tied to the federal government. You know, especially space. He doesn't get to Mars, okay, without that.
The government was to attend to the companies that he's meant to be running whose share prices were falling, and now this fight that he's got into publicly with the president of the United States is making his share price fall even further, on top of that New York Times article about the amount of drugs that he's taking at the moment, the ketamine and the magic mushrooms that he's been taking since he's been working with Donald Trump, which can't be helping his share price either. So he has an interest in this de-escalating. There's Steve Bannon loving this and winding up, Trump to start immigration investigations as we're speaking.
Why is Bannon still there? I mean, I thought that Trump kicked him out. Like, legitimate question. Why is he still there? He sort of skulks around in the background like a bad smell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all these people who, like, Trump kind of, like, goes, like, who's it? Sebastian Gurka as well. I think that's how you pronounce his surname. Same deal. He was fired, yet he skulks around in the background. It's so strange. Or do they just, like, wait like vultures for, like, an opportunity to prove themselves and, like, kind of come in, oh, master, like that kind of bollocks.
To Elon Musk, and is he there illegal? Is he there, in the United States legally or illegally? What's his immigration status? He's a U.S. citizen, but Bannon wants to get involved in this. Of course, Bannon wants to get involved in this. But how does Trump this is an interesting one for Trump, because Trump would normally assume, as he did with you, that he's just the biggest, lion in the pride, and he can win this one.
He's the man with the big swinging D.
But he's also got to be conscious. And I'm so looking forward, by the way, guys, to recording the final episode of our Elon Musk series. I think they've done all of this just for Anthony and me as a kind of treat to give us a great plot twist at the end. I mean, what great timing. But Trump is in a slightly unusual position, which he's always been in, which is that Elon does have these followers on X. And
yeah, Elon can push back, and he has the money. He has the unhinged, like, personality coupled with the drug use and the money and the platform to just be like, no, I'm taking this to the mat, and we're going at it,
And he does have,
like, if for nothing else, the entertainment value should be really interesting. And if anything that makes Trump, like, just to slow down the nonsense,
have a huge amount of money. And whilst it didn't work out for him in Wisconsin with the Supreme Court race, he can still weigh in on primaries, even if he says he's not going to be involved in politics anymore. So they both have an interest in de-escalating this one, right? I mean, I don't think.
Yes. So I
don't know that Trump wants to go full attack against Elon Musk.
Yes. So I'll say this. What I got wrong, at least, is that I I thought that their personalities would be contained given how badly the situation would be for each of them if it blew up. And so now it looks like it couldn't be contained, but believe.
Yeah, but neither guy has the foresight or the what's the word I'm looking for here? They're both just like crazy and compulsive. They just do. They just react, and neither of them has the emotional maturity or the foresight to go, okay, there needs to be a real strategy here and not just a tit for tat.
Me, when a guy's tweeting that you're in the Epstein files, and by the way, Katty, if the guy that is in the Epstein files is actually in the Epstein files, you're going to want to de-escalate. So I'm going to make a prediction on this little short podcast that we're doing, this short live podcast, that they're going to find a way to de-escalate this. I can't imagine.
Because they don't want mutually, I mean, as you guys are pointing out,
Yes.
people watching this is mutually assured destruction if they don't. I mean, because Elon is now threatening to do things with, and I realize Tesla is not the issue for the government, but if he starts, looking at SpaceX and if he starts looking at satellites, then that has an impact for, the U.S. government's security.
But let's talk about this though. If they cancel all of his projects, all the government projects, on SpaceX, they're making $5.5 billion right now, just on the Starlink. That's net profitability, just on Starlink. I don't think they want Elon selling this rocketry to other countries. I mean, there's no way they're going to cancel these contracts. They could threaten to cancel the contracts, but is Donald Trump for a personal fight?
Didn't Bannon say that like the Trump could do some take everything that Bannon says with a giant pinch of salt? There's something about like for national security reasons they can basically seize SpaceX, saying that we need it type deal.
With Elon Musk going to disrupt the whole trajectory of NASA and all the different military things that SpaceX is doing on behalf of the Pentagon and the United States? I mean, maybe, but if he does that, he's jumping the shark. So I want to make 3 predictions here quickly, and then I would like you to react to all 3. Okay, prediction number 1, they're going to de-escalate. I predict before the end of the weekend, there'll be some type of peace treaty between these two Looney Tunes. Okay, number 2, okay, I could be wrong on this, but I really...
You don't have the best track record here, Scaramucci. You really don't.
believe that Elon Musk is going to start a third party. I do believe that. I do believe that he's going to spend the $50 to $60 billion, something crazy like that, with a group of his friends to start a third party, because he's talking about that. He's out there talking about that. Is there a way to set up an endowment for a third party that's outside of the 2 parties that are running the country off the cliff in terms of the outside spending? So that's prediction number 2. And then the last prediction is that Trump is now a decaying political asset. And you can mark today, the day before the Normandy invasion anniversary, the 5th of June, Trump is now a decaying political asset, because you've got Elon is going to pull the plug on the algorithm. Elon's going to put pressure on him in ways that people cannot imagine, even if they declare a truce. And he's going to get wounded in a way that people are going to be surprised by, because Elon has a lot of followers in Silicon Valley. They're going to start writing checks to non-MAGA people, and the Republicans are going to shift gears as Trump goes into the midterms as a decaying asset. So those are my 3 predictions. What say you?
Yeah, but part of the problem is, I'm not being funny, but Elon burned so many bridges when he, got involved with Trump and spent, over $200 million in the swing states. Like I don't know who he actually. Well, he does appeal to a certain type of person, but I don't know if it's broad enough to have any real impact. He was a compliment to Trump. I don't think he works well as a standalone, not in a political sense, anyway.
I think they definitely tried to de-escalate, and it's interesting that you and I are speaking, and Elon Musk has already not tweeted for the last whatever hour or something. So there could be some thinking going on around Elon Musk to take it, and it may be to do with the stock price Tesla.
Yeah, I imagine what's happened is a bunch of people who, like, his main stockholders in Tesla probably turned around and gone, bro, chill, you know? Like, we're all 14%. Like, we're down that's a lot of money, man. That is a lot of money. And if you're like a major holder, even if you're not a major holder, let's just say like most of your portfolios in that because, 5 years ago or what have you, you thought, you know what, Tesla's going to be the future of. And I know people that did this. I know people who like they pretty much put all of their money into Tesla. You know, I mean, during the COVID, they did quite well. When it spiked up, they were like, millions of dollars in their retirement funds. But today, like, that's a lot of money.
The stock price dropping as he tweeted that he's going to take his finger off the trigger for a little bit. But they've both, he in particular, Elon Musk, has thrown so much stuff out there that he does make it harder for Donald Trump to de-escalate. But Trump is capable of de-escalating when he wants to. He's also capable of taking people who have been enemies and bringing them back into the fold. I mean, he's, countless people that he has done that with. So I think he's capable of getting over this. He'd rather have Elon Musk
on his
pissing,
side,
inside the tent pissing out than outside the tent pissing in. Maybe Elon Musk tries to start a third party. I suspect part of him is also going to think, as he has said in the last week or two, you know what, this politics business doesn't really get you very far. And
yeah,
he was better off
true.
when he was focusing on his engineering and better off when he was.
That is true. I mean, there was a momentary spike when everyone was like, "Oh my god," like Elon Musk made the best financial deal in world history for like a couple $100 million. He made billions. I don't know how much of that is wiped out today, but it hasn't really worked out all that well for him. I mean, Doge wasn't the great team, the department that everyone thought it was going to be, that he promised it would be. I personally thought it was stupid. If you want to tackle spending in the United States, you don't go after small things like financial aid. You go for you have to tackle things like military spending, or healthcare for seniors, or things of that nature, which are social security, and it's politically very, very, very difficult to do that for obvious reasons, So yeah, everything else is just tinsel, basically. It's like decorations around the tree. The tree is like your Medicaid, and all that kind of stuff, military spending, payments on the debt, and everything else around it's just tinsel.
He was focusing on SpaceX and Neuralink, and also on Tesla. And does he really want to get involved in politics? He's been burned by this process. He's seen what comes out when you get into this. I mean, the New York Times article is probably just the beginning of what would happen if he was really going to start a third party and run for president. So does he really want to get involved in politics more than he has been? I don't know. I think they do try to de-escalate. I'm not sure that he tries to start a third party, and I'm not sure how far that would go anyway, however much money he has. Just the system is so stacked against it. Yeah, so I'm iffy on the third party thing, because I don't know that he really wants to do more politics. What's in it for him to do more politics? He was having a much more, I mean, I know, look, anyone who's listened to our series, and please do listen to it because it gets into all of this. He doesn't have much filter. He likes drama. He loves risk. And I guess, politics would be the ultimate drama factor for him. But he's also made it pretty clear that the political game was not what he thought it was going to be.